As usual, we'll start with polity. As it is all trending all over, we know that one nation, one election. The discussions are going on, and also the Union Cabinet has approved the recommendations as well. So this can be an analytical topic. It is like for the criticism, or maybe just challenges, way forward. So that kind of questions can be asked in mains. Definitely not a prelims topic. Even if it is a prelims topic, question can be asked on the past elections, or when was the first election, or related to historical underpinnings of the election in India. They can trace back to. So that can be done. So let's look into this. What is it all about? I'm sure that you have come across this article or in the news as well. So it will be a revision for you. So let's look into it. Right. So the Union Cabinet has approved the recommendations of a high-level committee chaired by former President Ramnath Kovind regarding the One Nation, One Election initiative. If there is any trouble with the audio, please let me know. There is some network trouble, so I'll have to switch off the camera. So I'm just going with the audio alone. If there is any trouble, you want me to repeat anything, please let me know. Right. So the committee was chaired by former President Ramnath Kovind, that is given here. Let's see the basics first, then we will go into analysis. The proposal suggests conducting simultaneous elections for the Lok Sabha, state assemblies, and local bodies in a phased approach. So here, one nation, one election is evidently says that conducting simultaneous elections together for Lok Sabha, state assemblies, even for local bodies, when we say this is kind of a three-tier approach. At the same time, we are having election for all the levels. So first phase, Lok Sabha and state assembly elections will be aligned. Second phase, local body elections will follow within 100 days of the first phase. So they are going to, if at all this one nation, one election is going to be conducted in the coming years, there can be two phases. One should be knowing the details about it before we go to analysis. So that's why we are looking into it. So Lok Sabha and state assembly elections will be aligned together. Then local body elections will follow within 100 days of the first purpose. That is the first phase. That is the committee's recommendations. This is what we have in the as the surface part. Let's look into more details regarding one nation, one election, and how it is important, and what did we have in the past, or did we have in the past such an election. So simultaneous elections involve conducting Lok Sabha and state assembly elections together to align the election cycle nationwide. So today we know that, or currently when we see that Lok Sabha elections and state assembly elections vary. So some elections for especially Jammu and Kashmir, or maybe previously we saw Himachal Pradesh or Odisha or Jharkhand or Andhra Pradesh. So likewise, or Karnataka. So most of the times it can be consecutive years, or it is not aligned at the same time when the central government is formed or the union government is formed. So in order to tackle that, see, when there is a proposal, when there is a policy that has been given by the government on the hosa policy ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ criticisms irutte, appreciation irutte. So no government can appease or impress anybody, right? So or everyone, that is also there. So when it comes to it, as a bureaucrat, as an aspiring bureaucrats, or as aspiring bureaucrats you all are, always have to take a diplomatic stance. You have to see through what is positive in this, what is negative, or maybe rather we can call it as criticism. Eradu nodbekagutte ನೀವು, right? So let's look into it. So in the past, what happened, elections for both would occur on the same day or in phases every 5 years, allowing citizens to vote simultaneously. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ idea ಏನು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ phases ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, but make sure that ಎಲ್ಲಾ ರೀತಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಒಂದೇ ಇಯರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ಎವ್ರಿ 5 years ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಫೋಕಸ್. ಕೀಪ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈಂಡ್. ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲಿ ಹೆಲ್ಡ್ ಸೈಮಲ್ಟೇನಿಯಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಮುಂಚೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1951, 52, 57, 62, 67 ಈ time ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ. So one should keep in mind that this is not the first time we are going to have one nation one election. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮುಂಚೆನೆ ಇತ್ತು, ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಇತ್ತು ಅಥವಾ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಯಾಕೆಂತಂದ್ರೆ obviously it is very evident post independence the first election and the upcoming elections where or these synchronized at the same time. No wonder, because government was just forming and political parties, almost lesser number of political parties were there. So when did we have this elections or the variations in election timing? What was the real cause here? Because initially post independence we have few parties, or maybe one or two parties, or basically one party or some 2 or 3 regional parties. So it was very easy in all the states. After 1960s, what happened? This synchronization was disrupted by political instability. By political instability, the rise of the regional parties, frequent use of Article 356. So what are the reasons? See, this is, as I told you, it is a deeper analysis more than what we see. That is what you can understand here. So why did, after our post 1967, why did we have this disruption in the timing of the election? Reasons are political instability. Various states were undergoing various issues, political issues, or maybe insurgency, right? Or economic crisis, or maybe political indifference. It goes on. So that could be the issue. The rise of regional parties, multiple regional parties started emerging. And also frequent use of president's rule. ಈಗ presidential rule ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? So there is a gap, there is a lapse where the government or the state government functions or administer the state affairs. So when there is president rule and wherein it do not have a definite time period, it depends upon the will or the decision of the president. So what happens? This delay or this gap has created this lack of synchronization of the election. ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದ ಈ ಇಶ್ಯೂಗಳು, ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ರೀಜನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ರೀಜನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್, ಈಗ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ರೀಜನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಇದೆ ಒಂದು ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ರೂಲ್ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಡಿಲೇ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಸೆಂಬ್ಲಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ರೂಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, ದರ್ ಆರ್ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ರೀಸನ್ಸ್. ದರ್ ಇಸ್ nobody has made it purposefully that this should be done separately. Now we hear in the news channels or maybe in the articles, various critical analysis are coming up. Why should we have it or why should not we have it? So both the ways we have to look into. Then there are other countries also similarly, wherein simultaneous elections include South Africa, Sweden, Germany, and Britain. In all these countries, even today, they follow simultaneous elections. That means it is not a new thing for the country or any democratic country to take up one nation, one election, right? But let's see what are its significance. What is the significance of having it? And also what are the challenges if we have one such policy, right? What is the importance? Why should we have both the way? This can be your interview question also as well. So what is the opinion of having one nation, one election? Should we have it? So you should carry out, or you should give an answer in a subtle way wherein you consider both pros and cons. Let's look into the significance here. So first thing is cost savings, right? So lowers election expenses for the government and political parties. We already know that the expenses, the money that is shelled out during election campaigns, or how much government has to spend over the security or the personnel or the equipments or the technology and so on, right? So if at all, and every year maybe, or every consecutive year, different state assemblies are taking up, and it is all the onus or the responsibility is on election commission. ಎಲ್ಲ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರತಿ ಸಲನು ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷನೂ ಅಥವಾ once in 2 years ಈ ರೀತಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ನಡೆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅನ್ನೆಸೆಸರಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ನ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಉದ್ದೇಶ. ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ಡ್ ವೋಟರ್ ಫಟೀಗ್, reduces voter absentation by minimizing frequent voting on multiple issues. So ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, this is all about the probability, right? So practicality we are yet to see, we're just thinking of it or assuming this would work. This would work. So reduces voter absentation, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವೋಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಎವ್ರಿ ಒಂದು ಎಂಟೈರ್ ನೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ನಡೀತದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ ವಿ ಗೆಟ್ ಅ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆಂಟ್ ವೋಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗುವಂತದ್ದು ಅಥವಾ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗುವಂತದ್ದು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ನಡೆಯಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದೇ ಯೂನಿಫೈಡ್ ಅಥವಾ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು. Enhanced policy continuity allows governments to focus on long-term planning instead of short-term political strategies. This is also equally important. Why means, see, we know that we have cooperative federalism, no doubt in it, right? Who called it as, because you read your Lakshmikant thoroughly, I'm just asking this question to you. Meanwhile, for your revision part, cooperative federalism, adna ee word na mention ಮಾಡಿದವರು ಯಾರು? Anybody? Or we say India's union and states have follows quasi-federalism anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Anybody? Cooperative federalism, where have you heard this term? Anyone? Okay. See, whenever I ask questions, either you answer here or please note it down and go through it. Very important. Right? What is cooperative federalism? Anyone? Anyway, given by Granville Austin. Right. So it is like a horizontal relationship, we can say, right? Cooperative federalism is like horizontal relationship, so that all the states with the union have to focus, or there should be a flexible relationship between the union and the states. That is what we say. So cooperative federalism is like an ideology wherein there is a stable relationship between center and the state. That is what we see in cooperative federalism. Why I took this point? Because enhanced policy continuity anta ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ allows governments to focus on long-term planning instead of short-term political strategies. So government, union government plan ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಒಂದು ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ರೂಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಥವಾ they'll be in power, or even after coming to power there can be political indifference. So ಈಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, it is very obvious that, and no denial in that, every political party wants to gain the trust of the voters by giving out various policies that we see in the state governments as well as the central government. No denial in that, right? So if at all it is done together, there is a syncing, there is what you call as a uniform idea wherein you can put up policies by discussing, so that a 5-year plan is possible. So that when a particular political party, if the central government alli ಒಂದು political party ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಬೇರೆ ಇರುವಂತ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಿಗೆ ಇವರು ಮಾಡುವ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ಗಳಿಂದ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತಾನೆ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್, ಅಥವಾ ಹಾನಿ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಪಾಲಿಸಿಗಳು. ಅದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ that loses the very essence of cooperative federalism or quasi federalism, if you call so. So that's the reason, if we have once in 5 years, so somehow it is like planning for 5 years, on 5-year planning ತರ ಆಗಿ, whether irrespective of any parties, all will be working towards one goal ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಉದ್ದೇಶ. That is what enhanced policy continuity is. Then limited MCC influence, model code of conduct ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Fewer election cycles diminish the model code of conduct's impact, promoting effective policy implementation. We see during the election time campaign and all that, model code of conduct is very important. So depending upon the technology, depending upon the need, every time if elections are conducted at the state assembly, depending upon the requirement or the nature of the political parties in the state and the crimes or the issues, there can be different model of conduct, code of conduct in different states. Adara badlu, what if we have fewer elections, lesser number of elections? So that would diminish n number of set of rules and regulations, which can totally confuse, or literally political parties will not follow. So model of conduct na effective ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ MCC model code of conduct na. Less black money, decrease the circulation of unaccounted funds in campaigns. This is questionable anyway, but yet you can make it a point saying that circulation of unaccounted funds in campaigns ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗಬಹುದು. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಇಯರ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ ಒಬ್ಬರೊಬ್ಬರದ್ದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಸೆಂಬ್ಲಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಮನಿ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ರಿಮೋಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ದಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್, ಬಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನೋ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಎನಿವೆ. ಸೊ stability in that is why we have this electoral bonds and all, and that was one more issue in the previous classes. We have seen that, right? Stability in public services reduces disruption in public services from frequent election related duties. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೋಲಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಇಂದ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ತನಕ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಈ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, disbursement of or allotment of government workers for the election duty, and there will be an off or maybe disruption of the certain ಜಾಸ್ತಿ stringent measures ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ because of traveling and checking and all that. ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀರಿ ನೀವು ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚೆಕಿಂಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೆಸೆಸರಿ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷನೂ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಡಿಪ್ಲಾಯ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ನ ಡಿಪ್ಲಾಯ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಬದಲು ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಇಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಬೆಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. So promotion of national unity shifts focus from regional to national issues in the electoral process. As we say, as I told you already in this, so when we have one nation, one election, there will be more cooperation between the center and the states. These are the ideas wherein it is put forth by the concept of one nation, one election. Understood? So this is all positive for us. Let's look into challenges. Andre critically comment on the kottaga you have to write both pros and cons. That's the reason we look into challenges. So main agi en agbeku, en agutte antandre ee reeti election du bagge bandre, requires amendments to provisions like Article 85 and Article 356 affecting the basic structure and federal character of the Constitution. Now you have to tell me what is Article 85 and Article 356 quickly. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಗೆ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ತರಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ Article 85 and Article 356? Whichever you can remember immediately, you can tell me. Article 85 ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ? Anybody? Okay, Article 356. If I should not, okay, anybody to answer? Right. Yes, what is Article 85, Article 356? Article 85 ಏನಲ್ಲ, simple. The president will be forming from time to time or summons the House of Parliament as he fits, but 6 months limited time. Article 85 ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ summoning or summons of the president to form a house or parliament session ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಬಜೆಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್, ಮಾನ್ಸೂನ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಸೆಷನ್ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದನ್ನ ಅದು ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ, ಆರ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಮಿ ಹೌ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್. Article 356 ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ರೂಲ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ಇದು ಎರಡೂನು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈಗ ಒಂದೇ ಸೈಮಲ್ಟೇನಿಯಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಎರಡರಲ್ಲಿ, ವೇರ್ ದ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಸಮ್ಮನಿಂಗ್ ದ ಹೌಸ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ 2 ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್. 2 ಸೆಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಮಾನ್ಸೂನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಬಜೆಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತು Article 356 ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ರೂಲ್, ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಎಮರ್ಜೆನ್ಸಿ ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಅದು ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಥವಾ ಫೆಡರಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್, ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಯು ಫೆಡರಲಿಸಮ್, ಅದು ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇದೆ ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ. Just mentioning this will do. So logistical issues, significant challenges in coordinating security and managing electronic voting machines on a large scale. ಈಗ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವ್ದು ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆಗಾಗ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ನ ಡಿಪ್ಲಾಯ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ನಾವು ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿನೂ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. It is very difficult to coordinate security because all are having elections at the same time. That the same advantage can also be a negative or a criticism. Federalism risks may weaken India's federal structure by prioritizing national over state issues, leading to more unitary governance approach. Idರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, this is the real concern ಜನರಿಗೆ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಫೆಡರಲಿಸಮ್ಗೆ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಯು ಟು ಲುಕ್ ಇಂಟು ಮೋರ್ ಇಂಟು ಫೆಡರಲಿಸಮ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿನೂ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ. ಫೆಡರಲಿಸಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕೋಆಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಫೆಡರಲಿಸಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹಿಂದೂವಲ್ಲೇ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತು ಕೋಆಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಫೆಡರಲಿಸಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. or you will get video also. I want you to watch into it, some analysis, idea ಏನು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. Okay, yes. So may weaken India's federal structure by prioritizing national over state issues. ಯಾವಾಗ one nation one election ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, it will be all focused on center rather than state issues. ಆಗ unitary governance approach once ಕಡೆ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಒಳ್ಳೇದು. But country like India having multiple regionalities, multiple ideologies, multiple political parties, linguistic, religious, casteist, right, or ecosystem wise, geographical wise, ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು diversity ಇದೆ. ಇದಂತ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ one size fits all kind of rule will not work here. That is what critics say. The neglected regional concerns, blending national and regional issues could overshadow local priorities and disadvantaging regional parties. Regional parties ke mahatva ide. This is a democratic country, so regional parties can come up and there is no bar on it. But when we have this unified approach, there can be a kind of a discouragement to regional parties. That is what. Then voting patterns. Voters often choose the same party for state and central governments when voting simultaneously. This is the most worrisome for the politics. Politically speaking, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಈಗ opposition parties ಏನು ಅಥವಾ opposition ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ವೋಟರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸೇಮ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಫಾರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವೆನ್ ವೋಟಿಂಗ್ ಸೈಮಲ್ಟೇನಿಯಸ್ಲಿ. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಆರ್ ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಅಮಾಂಗ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಆರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಎಲ್ಡರ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋರಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋರಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಬರೋದೇ ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಇದ್ರ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ವೋಟಿಂಗ್ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಗೇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಲೀಡ್ ಟು changes in the voting patterns of the voters. So they try to use the same party for political for central and state government, wherein again it can discourage the importance of regional parties. That is the thing. Then feasibility doubts, concerns about conducting elections for all states if a coalition central government collapses. ಇದಾಗುತ್ತಾ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್. about conducting elections for all states if a coalition central government collapses. Coalition ಆಗಿರುವಂತ central government ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅದೇ collapse ಆದ್ರೆ one nation one election ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಒಂದು question. So in both the ways we have seen what is the benefit and what are the disadvantages, challenges. Keep this in mind, develop more thoughts on it, right? Keep reading the editorials or opinions or columns on this one nation one election. Have as much as information possible, then you can write a better quality answer in mains, right? ಈಗ ಸದ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಬಿನೆಟ್ ಅಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, unless and until it is applicable or applied. ಈಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಾಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಸಮ್ ಪಾಲಿಸೀಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಚೆಕ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕೋರ್ಟ್. ಆಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಜುಡಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ಲೆಜಿಸ್ಲೇಚರ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ what we can see is they have approved, they are okay with it, but what if there is a suit, there is a case filed on this checking the validity or constitutionality of the policy? ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸರಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಬಿಲ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ will intervene or can intervene, or anybody can question it in the court, and Supreme Court's order can also prevail. So we are yet to see that the further updates or happenings or the developments regarding this particular topic. But as of now, keep a tab on it. Election ಅನ್ನೋ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 85, 356 basic structure, when it is seen in news, it is like I keep telling you, it is time for you to go and revise and be confident about the topic. ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಲ ಬಂದ್ರು ಅಷ್ಟು ಸಲ ಓಕೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಓದಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನೀವು, right? Then moving on, we'll speak about a topic from history. Battle of Saragarhi or Saragarhi. This was in this. Usually we see that in the previous classes also. I told you ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಆನಿವರ್ಸರಿನೋ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಲೀಡರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಡೆತ್ ಆನಿವರ್ಸರಿ, ಬರ್ತ್ ಆನಿವರ್ಸರಿ ಅಥವಾ ಬ್ಯಾಟಲ್ ಆನಿವರ್ಸರಿ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಇನ್ ಅ holistic perspective. So let's see what is this battle about and where it was fought and all that. So the 127th anniversary of the Battle of Saragarhi or Saragarhi was recently commemorated on September 12th, and it is hailed as one of the greatest last stands in the military history worldwide. So where it has happened, let's see. Right, 127th anniversary, the Battle of Saraigadi. Saraigadi functioned as the communication tower between Fort Lockhart and Fort Galistan. Where are these two places? So Saraigadi ano one place. This place functioned as a communication tower between two places, Fort Lockhart, Fort Galistan. So both forts were located in the rugged northwestern frontier province, now part of Pakistan. Ellittu jaga Fort Lockhart and Fort Galistan in northwest frontier of or northwestern province anta enanta karithíವಿ ade Pakistan. So they were originally built by Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Eradu fort ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಆಗ Jammu Kashmir, Pakistan, or when we consider the current days Pakistan, it was part of Jammu Kashmir or Sikh kingdom alva, Ranjit Singh kelige. So it was actually built by this person, Maharaja Ranjit Singh of Sikh dynasty. So the British later renamed this fort. It was actually built by, so one could wonder, Maharaja Ranjit Singh did not name it as Lockhart and Galistan. It was named by the British themselves. So it had a older name, Punjabi name. So we have Saragarhi antandre idondu communication tower, as I told you, between two forts. So why it was fought and why it is called as one of the finest last stands in the military history of the world, and how many soldiers died and what is the issue here, let's look into it. So the Battle of Saragarhi took place on 12th September 1897, right? 1897, this was the time, in the west frontier province of British India. So the battle focused on the defense of the Saragarhi post 21 soldiers from the 36th Sikh regiment, now 4 Sikh, led by Havildar Ishar Singh, along with the non-combatant named Daat, defended the post. ಯಾರಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಡಿಫೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು, ಯಾರ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಇದು ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸಿಖ್ ರೆಜಿಮೆಂಟ್, 36th Sikh regiment, ಈ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಇದ್ದಂತ 36th Sikh regiment, they faced a massive force of over 8,000 Afridi and Orakazai tribal militants. ಈ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ, if you can see here, that is this Khyber Pass is what we are talking about. In this place, Afghanistan, Pashtuns or Pashtuns anta enanta karitare, these all tribes, because this area belonged to this was called a northwest frontier province in the Pakistan, then British called it as. So this Sikh regiment, which was under the British in 1897, faced a massive force of over 8,000 Afridi and Orakazai tribal militants who were from the Afghanistan region. So this battle is regarded as one of the greatest last stands in military history. So why I have taken it very precise, because I have never seen in the current affairs and all that, but recently it is in news, means geographically you have to know. Maybe this is the time for you to look into the passes of India. Khyber Pass undide alva, Khyber Pass illide, illi Afghanistan and Pakistan, between these two we have Khyber Pass here. So various passes in India can be considered as a static topic, and you have to go and revise. So a Battle of Saragarhi took place in the northwest frontier province of British India, and here nothing but illen British viruddha horadilla bere foreign tribes, that is especially from Afghanistan, Turkmenistan. So they were called as Afridi and Orakazai tribal militants. They fought here. So and the fort was named as Fort Lockhart in the distance. And here the idea here is, so how many, like on this day 21 soldiers held down the fort against 8,000 Orakazai Afridi tribal militants. ಯಾಕೆ ಇದನ್ನ ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಗ್ರೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಬರೀ 21 ಸೋಲ್ಜರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ಕೊಂಡು 8,000 ಟ್ರೈಬಲ್ ಮಿಲಿಟೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಅವರು ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಎಪಿಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಟಲ್ ಫಾಟ್ in the military history worldwide anta consider ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So Saraigadi, both are same. It was fought in 1897, which was the place is just nothing but the communication tower between two forts, as you can see in this image. Okay, so the Sikh regiment were the one who fought against them, and for you the assignment is Khyber Pass, Bolan Pass, ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾಸ್ಗಳು ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಹಿಮಾಲಯನ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದ್ಸಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, geographical ಆಗಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Yes. Next we move on to Indian economy topic. Windfall tax is like multiple times it comes, so I don't fail to put it up because it doesn't matter how many times it is in the news. It is kind of a hint for us. It resurfaces in the news n number of times, so that's the reason I've taken this up. So let's look into it, right? So just give me a minute. Just I'll okay. So as I told you, as far as my memory goes, I have seen this topic. I have taken this topic in the past also. So anyway, the minute you find a technical term from Indian economy, that is very important. I told you, you should be knowing on the definition ಅಥವಾ meaning ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು extend ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು examples ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕಿ. So if you can recollect, it is good, or else anyway I'm going to explain it to you. Let's look into it. So the government recently reduced the windfall tax on domestically produced crude oil to 0 per ton. Windfall tax ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನಾನು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ವಿಂಡ್ಫಾಲ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ವಿಂಡ್ಫಾಲ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ನ್ಯೂಸ್. What is this increase and decrease of windfall tax? What is this tax especially? So petroleum ಮೇಲೆ, especially crude petroleum ಮೇಲೆ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ fluctuations ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೋ, any commodity, right, in the global market, it undergoes fluctuation, and when the price is extremely high, and when the owners or the producers or manufacturers make huge amount of profit, on that profit tax ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ windfall tax ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Okay, I'll read out the definition for you, but anyway I'll finish off these points. The most recent revision occurred on August 31st when the windfall tax on crude petroleum was set at 1,850 per ton. Windfall tax ishtittu August alli anta. India first introduced windfall profit taxes on July 2022. It was recently introduced. Keep this in mind. Okay, aligning with other countries that tax the supernormal profits of energy companies. Simple thing. Okay, keep this in mind. E tax andre enu, windfall tax andre enu, any especially energy companies, the crude oil ಅಥವಾ petroleum products ಇರುವಂತ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಂಪನಿ ಸೂಪರ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, means extremely high profit, if they get, government imposes tax on this profit, and it can fluctuate, and it can rise or it can fall depending upon the fluctuations of price in the market. So this tax is called as windfall tax. So let's look into the basic details of it. So windfall tax is a higher tax imposed on specific industries. To know the definition, on specific industries when they achieve unusual and above average profits. By now I have repeated this. Hope you got the idea. Yavaga ಒಂದು company extra ಅಥವಾ super normal, it is like extra profit ಮಾಡುತ್ತೋ ಆಗ government tax ಆಗುತ್ತೆ specific industry ಮೇಲೆ. The term windfall refers to an unexpected increase in profits. Windfall ಅಂತ ಯಾಕೆ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, windfall ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಗಾಳಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಫಾಲ್ ಆಫ್, ರೈಟ್, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನ್ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್. ಸೊ ಕೆಲವೊಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಅನ್ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕೋದಕ್ಕೆ windfall tax ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. If at all government had not imposed this, what happens is it can fluctuate the other market mechanism, because some people will make huge money out of it all of a sudden because of the global market condition, and that can actually hamper or damage the economic condition of the country. That is the reason. So windfall tax is applied to profits that arise due to favorable external factors, not because of business's expansion or investment strategy. Keep this in mind. ಈಗ a company A has extended, or it has put up its branches all over the country. Because of its expansion, it is making good money. Just because it is making good money, adra mele windfall tax hakala. So business expansion galla, for one go, market changes iddu external factors in the market changes iddu profit increase adre windfall tax apply agutte. The tax is typically levied on industries or businesses that earn disproportionate profits during unforeseen situations such as commodity shortages, wars, pandemics, changes in government policies. Keep this in mind. So when will the commodities price changes? There are n number of reasons, such as commodity shortages. Supply kammi adaga, demand jaasti adaga enagutte, price jaasti agutte. Price jaasti adaga, these company can make supernormal profit. War in the ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ship route ಅಥವಾ roads block ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, because of the demand of the such commodity, what happens, the price increases and some companies will make huge money out of it. Then pandemic during COVID, right? ಈಗ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಲಾಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರಿಂದ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಯ್ತು. ಲೈಕ್ sometimes it is not that all the services or products supply yavagella kammi agutte, accessibility kammi agutte, price shoot up agutte. So some people will make huge money out of it, profit, some companies or some commodities. Changes in the government policies, akasmat government policies alle change adre windfall tax agbodu. Commonly targeted industries include, keep this in mind, oil, gas, mining. Very important. Windfall tax can be applied on oil, gas, mining companies. Certain individual taxes like inheritance tax or taxes on lottery or game show winnings can also be considered. We know that inheritance tax antandre we get from our ancestors. Some property we get, right? It is passed on, and or trust or some asset or whatever it is. Alli namma ಶ್ರಮ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದುಡಿಮೆ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆನ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ಹೆರಿಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಗೆ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅನ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ಲಿ. ದೆನ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಸ್ ಆನ್ ಲಾಟ್ರಿ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರೈಸ್, ಗೇಮ್ ಶೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಲೈಕ್ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಕಾನ್ ಬನೇಗ ಕರೋಡ್ಪತಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ ಫುಲ್ 1 crore ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಅಂತ ತಕ್ಷಣ 1 crore ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ, ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಥವಾ ಗೇಮ್ ಶೋಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು 1 ಲಕ್ಷ 2 ಲಕ್ಷ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದಾಗ there will be a tax. So that is an unusual, unexpected income when a person is earning. So tax will go to the government. Idukunu windfall tax anta karitare. So very easy concept. I hope you will remember next time also if it is on the news. Once you remember windfall tax, remember this explanation. News is very simple. Reduction athwa increase in the tax ashte irutte. But you know the meaning of windfall tax, because in economics technical terms matter, right? Next, PM-AASHA governance. Let's speak about governance topic. Union Cabinet extends PM-AASHA price support scheme in agriculture to 2025-26. Lately, I'm taking these schemes because anyway, one or two schemes we'll be discussing in the class. But we in the 2024 prelims, that the trend of asking about schemes have come back. ಈಗ last 3-4 years ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಬಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ಸ್ ದ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ ರೀಸರ್ಫೇಸಿಂಗ್. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್, ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಹೆಸರು ಕೇಳಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಅಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕು ನಿಮಗೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸಿ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್. ಪ್ರಧಾನ್ ಮಂತ್ರಿ ಅನ್ನದಾತ ಐ ಸಂರಕ್ಷಣ್ ಅಭಿಯಾನ್, PM-AASHA, okay, ಅನ್ನದಾತ scheme has been extended by Union Cabinet until 2025-26. See, every time when a policy is been implemented, scheme is been implemented, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವಂತ ಫಂಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಪೈಲಟ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಅಂತ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಲೈನ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. When the beneficiaries increase and it is actually helping out people, and people are asking for it or demanding for it, and also government thinks that it is highly required by the people, then it will extend. So cabinet approve agi barutte. So Pradhan Mantri Annadata Ay Samrakshan Abhiyan is an umbrella scheme designed to ensure that farmers receive remunerative prices for their produce. ಅನ್ನದಾತ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ farmers ಅಂತ. Remunerative price for their produce. Farmers, whatever they are producing, they get proper price, market price for their produce. PM-AASHA consists of 3 components and the states can choose which one to implement. Andre idu central government initiate madide, but state government has to implement. Can you tell me why state government has to implement? Agricultural policy na state government ಯಾಕೆ implement ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? Central government scheme ಇದು. What is the answer? Because agriculture is seventh schedule of the constitution. Very good. Agriculture comes in state list. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವ್ ಏನ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ? ಫೆಡರಲಿಸಂ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಕ್ವಾಸಿ ಫೆಡರಲಿಸಂ. ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ ಇದೇ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ state will decide what components they can choose under this scheme. Let's see what are those 3 components in brief. Okay, PM-AASHA ಅನ್ನೋದು related to farmers. Keep this in mind. At least ಅನ್ನದಾತ ಅನ್ನೋ ವರ್ಡ್ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಈಸಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Receive remunerative prices for their produce ಅಂದ್ರೆ competitive price, proper price in the market ಸಿಗುವಂತ ಒಂದು scheme ಅದು. How do they give it? We will see in the 3 components. So there are 3 components, that is price support scheme, price deficiency payment scheme, pilot of private procurement and stockist schemes. Difficult to remember, I know, but let's brief it up anyway so that if at all you see anywhere, you can try answering logically. So central nodal agency with state government support, procure pulses, oil seeds and copra, costs covered by the central government. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? Central nodal agency, central plus state government support ತಗೊಂಡು it will procure pulses, oil seeds and copra is coconut, copra ಇಷ್ಟು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇರುವಂತ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಎರಡೂ ಸೇರಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಕ್ಯೂರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಪ್ರೊಕ್ಯೂರ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಏನ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅದು ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್, price deficiency payment scheme, direct payments to registered farmers for the difference between the minimum support price and market prices with the no physical procurement involved. Idರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ farmers will get the difference money between MSP and market price. ಈಗ MSP ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರುತ್ತೆ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ MSP ಗೆ ಮಾರಿದ್ಕೆ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಈ ಲಾಸ್ ನ ಬೇರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್. So no physical procurement ಏನು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ. There is no taking of grains or pulses or nothing like that. So they'll be selling it anyway. But what differences they got when compared to market price, ಆ deficiency ನ ಸರಿ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ central government. Okay. Third one, pilot of private procurement and stockist schemes. States can test private procurement of oil seeds in selected districts, allowing private stockists to participate. Only one scheme can operate per commodity in a state. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಯಿಲ್ ಸೀಡ್ಸ್ ಗೆ, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಆಯಿಲ್ ಸೀಡ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಕ್ಯೂರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ದೆನ್ ಅಲೋವಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕಿಸ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್. ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ, ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದೆನ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಪರೇಟ್ ಪರ್ ಕಮಾಡಿಟಿ ಇನ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಟ್ವೈಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರಿ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಬಟ್ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಪೈಲಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಕ್ಯೂರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ಸ್, ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್ ನ ಇಂಟರ್ಫಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವರಿಂದ ಪ್ರೊಕ್ಯೂರ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವ್ರು ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಅನ್ನದಾತ ಈ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಇಂದ ಆಗುವಂತ ತೊಂದರೆಗಳನ್ನ ಸರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಸಕ್ಕೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ PM-AASHA. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್, either PSS or PDPS can be implemented for a single commodity in a state. ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಕ್ಯೂರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸು ಬೇಕು, ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸು ಬಂದು ತಗೊಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಮಾತ್ರ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ PM-AASHA scheme. And the news is regarding the PM-AASHA scheme. The cabinet has decided to extend the scheme time period for further 2 years. That is the news. Okay, yes. Then moving on, Science and tech. Well, let's take science and tech. Mpemba effect. Mpemba effect was recently in news. So science and tech questions were also prominent in the previous year or this year, 2024 prelims. So that's why some technical words kottaga nimge gottirbeku. Okay, let's look into it. Here it is related to water. And questions on water in a different way possible has been asked. Different way. Bere ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ basic questions ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. This year also 2024 prelims ni question paper ಅಲ್ಲಿ I'll give you a task. Water ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು question ಇದೆ. ಏನಂತ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು. Regarding water. Science and tech geography ಎರಡು combine ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು question ಇದೆ. You can look into it 2024 prelims question paper ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Okay. So ಏನೇ ಇದ್ರೂನು water ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅದು scientific basic general science ಆಗಿದ್ರೂನು ತುಂಬಾ simple ಆಗಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So consider it as an important area. Let's look into the news. A recent study by scientists from Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research, an autonomous institute under Department of Science and Technology, has observed the Mpemba effect in magnetic materials. So Mpemba effect is usually seen in water, but surprisingly, these are seen in magnetic materials. So paramagnets in the magnetic materials. They are not magnets per se. They are paramagnets in the karitive. They have this ferromagnetic phases. What is this Mpemba effect? How do we, what have they observed it? The Mpemba effect is a phenomenon where a hot substance cools faster than a colder one under certain conditions was noted in these materials during research. Mpemba effect andre enu antandre a hot substance and cold substance. ಅಥವಾ hot water ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟರ್ಗೆ. ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಐಸ್ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ಸ್. ಇದು ಎರಡಕ್ಕೂ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕೂಲ್ ಆಗೋದು ಯಾವುದು? ಹಾಟ್ ಅಂತ. ಹಾಟ್ ವಾಟರ್, not the cold ice blocks. Just because it is cold, it will not be cool. Here it is reverse. The hot water becomes cool first. This effect is called as Mpemba effect. The effect, as described by Aristotle for the very first time in his book called as Meteorologica, was rediscovered in 1960s by Erasto Mpemba, a schoolboy then in Tanzania. So Aristotle had mentioned it initially. Then this concept was rediscovered by Mpemba. He was a Erasto Mpemba schoolboy. So then it was named as Mpemba effect, named after this person, Erasto Mpemba. So the news is regarding, they have found this Mpemba effect in the magnetic property. What is Mpemba effect? We will see it again in the key points. And who gave this idea? Erasto Mpemba, schoolboy then in Tanzania. So what are the key points? This is what I told you. Hot water cools down quicker than cold water. So the study found that hotter paramagnets transition to their ferromagnetic phase faster than colder ones, even when starting at a high temperature. Paramagnets have a temporary and weaker attraction to magnetic fields due to random alignment of atomic magnets. Ferromagnets, in contrast, have a permanent and stronger attraction because their atomic magnets are aligned in an ordered manner. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ತರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Magnets ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ತರ, para and ferro. Usually Mpemba effect is applied to water, but they have applied to magnetic materials called as para and ferro. Paramagnetic refers to weak attraction or weaker magnetic field. Ferromagnetic ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿರ್ತೀರ, ferromagnetic substances, right? Strong, wherein they can attract magnet, or we say iron ಇರುವಂತ ಅಂಶ, iron fillings and magnet, ಅದನ್ನ ferromagnetic ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So ಆದ್ರೆ the transition from paramagnetic to ferromagnetic phases happens as the temperature drops, reaching a critical point called the Curie point. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ನೀರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ವೀಕರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇರೋದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಂತರ ಫೆರೋಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಡ್ರಾಯಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್ ಟು ವಾಟರ್, ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ವಾಟರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. ವಾಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ರಿಗಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ Mpemba effect, which is a science and tech topic. Keep this in mind. For you, the clue is regarding water again. We go back to the topic water, geographically, scientifically, importance of water, properties of water, and all that. Right. Next. Trishna mission. Trishna mission. So let's see what is this. Now this is a collaboration between France or French Space Agency and ISRO, right? The president of the French Space Agency, CNES, adu French allide, so you don't have to worry about the actual name of it. Just remember French Space Agency recently spoke about various topics, including celebrating 60 years of space cooperation between France and India, as well as the Gaganyaan and Trishna missions. Now, Trishna mission is related to what? Now, note science and tech. So, here there is a comment made by the president of the French Space Agency saying that there is an expertise with the ISRO for Gaganyaan and all that. We'll see that. The Trishna mission, which stands for Thermal Infrared Imaging Satellite for High Resolution Natural Resource Assessment. Trishna is a joint project between ISRO and CNES. CNES is in French, so I am just writing it here. ISRO and CNES madhye iruvanta ಒಂದು joint project. Keep this in mind. Why I am telling you this? Because Trishna mission is an indigenous project by ISRO. It means incorrect. So it is a collaboration between ISRO and NASA. Incorrect. ISRO and France or French Space Agency. India and France it is. Trishna mission. Okay. High resolution natural resource assessment. This is the keyword. Let's see the key lights of Trishna mission. The Trishna mission is designed to provide high resolution observations of Earth's surface temperature, vegetation health and water cycle. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ natural resources ಅಂತ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿಷನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ provide high resolution observations of Earth's surface temperature, vegetation health, water cycle dynamics. So it is completely regarding natural observation, natural aspects of Earth's observation, right? It will assess urban heat islands, detect thermal anomalies related to volcanic activity and geothermal resources and monitor snow melt runoff and glacier changes, right? So it will assess urban heat islands, detect thermal anomalies related to volcanic activity and geothermal resources and monitor snow melt runoff and glacier changes. Okay, so urban heat islands are nothing but in the urban places, because of lack of vegetation, the entire region turns into a heat island. Adke urban heat island anta karitare. Thermal anomalies anta andre volcanic activity iruvanta jagadalli extreme temperature changes agiruvantadu thermal anomalies. Geothermal resources anta andre geogenic sources, geo springs athwa hot water spring geysers ಆಗಿರುವುದು ಆ ರೀತಿ. Monitor snow melt runoff ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಹಿಮಾಲಯನ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಟಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಟಾರ್ಟಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಲ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಡಿಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು ಮತ್ತು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು. ದೆನ್ ಗ್ಲೇಷಿಯರ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್, ಎಷ್ಟು ಗ್ಲೇಷಿಯರ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಆಫ್ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟ್ಸ್ ಗಿವ್ ಅಸ್ ಅನ್ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸಸ್, ಬಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಅನ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಟರಿ ವೇರ್ ಇಟ್ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ಹೈ ರೆಸಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ಸ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ Trishna. That is the meaning of it. The mission will also gather valuable data on aerosol optical depth, atmospheric water vapor and cloud cover, which is very important again, because aerosol optical depth antandaga, what are aerosols? Aerosols are suspended particles in the air. So how much, because aerosols are greenhouse gases, they are air pollutants. Sorry, not greenhouse gases, if I'm not wrong, air pollutants. So ಈ ರೀತಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ if they are already available ಅಥವಾ aerosols ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತ ಏರ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರಿಕ್ ವಾಟರ್ ವೇಪರ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾಯಿಶ್ಚರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಏರ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಫಾರ್ ಚೆಕಿಂಗ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮಿಡಿಟಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ಕ್ಲೌಡ್ ಕವರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ಸ್. Cloud cover will help us explain or tell us where rainfall occurs in a better way. One might ask, namge already meteorological satellites alla ide, why do we need it? Because this has a speciality. What is a speciality? It is a sun-synchronous orbit, athwa idu iruvanta athwa idನ್ನ place ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಜಾಗ SSO ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು, sun synchronous orbit. ಈಗ ಲಿಯೋ ಅಥವಾ ಜಿಯೋ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಜಿಯೋ ಸ್ಟೇಷನರಿ ಅಥವಾ ಲೋ ಅರ್ತ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಆ ರೀತಿಯ, ಅಥವಾ ಜಿಯೋ ಸಿನ್ಕ್ರನಸ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, GSO, LEO ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸನ್ ಸಿನ್ಕ್ರನಸ್ ಆರ್ಬಿಟ್? ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ Trishna, they can ask about this satellite is sun synchronous. Sun synchronous means satellites in this orbit travel over the polar region. ಅದರದ್ದು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ರೀತಿ. Direction. So travel over the polar regions and are synchronized with the sun. Sun movement na ಜಾಸ್ತಿ align ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿದೆ. They maintain a consistent position relative to the sun, allowing them to pass over the same spot at the same local time during each orbit. The constant position na maintain ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ effective information ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. This orbit ensures that the satellite observes the same area under similar lighting conditions on each pass. ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂದ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಕ್ಯುರೇಟ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅಥವಾ ಹೈ ರೆಸಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇಮೇಜ್ ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ Trishna, just summing it up, Trishna is the collaboration between India and France. It is basically to capture high resolution images of the natural resources, when it helps in predicting the changing environmental conditions, about rainfall, about drought, about cloud cover, about aerosols, etc. Right? And these satellites, Trishna satellite will be not in geosynchronous or low Earth orbit or something. They will be in sun synchronous orbit, which moves from north to south or pole to pole. That is the idea of sun synchronous orbit. Okay. So this is what we have as of now. We will take a break for 10 minutes. Then we will continue with the next topic. Right? Okay. Yes, Isha. With reference to water vapor, question was asked. Exactly. That's what I meant. Water vapor is a basic thing. Now, water vapor ಇದನ್ನ silly topic ಅಂತ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುವಂತದ್ದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ರೈಟ್? ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಅ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ನೌ ಅಂಡ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಫಾರ್ 10 minutes. Let's continue. So moving on, again a science and tech topic. Earth's mini moon was recently in news. Is it a real moon or what is it? Let's see that. So we already have a moon, right? Earth has one moon, whereas different planets have different number of moons. Hope you know that. And that is a task for you. You can look into it. I think the highest number of moons should be for Jupiter, if I'm not wrong. 60 plus and counting, I guess. So every planet have their own moons, and Earth has one moon, and multiple different planets have multiple, let's say, what do you call, moons, right? So a new study indicates that Earth will temporarily capture a small, temporarily, not permanently, a small asteroid named 2024 PT5 in late September. So it is going to happen. And here when we say moon, it is not a moon exactly, it is an asteroid, right? So what is an asteroid, anybody? That is again a basic science for you. What is an asteroid? Or where do these asteroids occur? If you have learned in your school level itself, you'll be learning. We have a belt, asteroid belt between two planets, that is Jupiter and Mars. Right? So between this, we have this small, chunky, rocky substances or materials that keep on swirling in the space. So once in a while, exactly, space rock. Once in a while, they might pass through or pass across or near Earth. We also have a term called as near Earth asteroids. Near Earth asteroids, whichever passes through Earth. But this is about to reach or temporarily capture. Capture antandre, what do you understand by capture? Earth, the gravitational force in the asteroid hatra baruvanta sadhyata ide. That is going to happen in late September, maybe, hopefully. That is going to happen, right? So mini moons are asteroids, nothing but they are asteroids. Keep in mind, they are not one more moon as such. So the asteroid is expected to remain in Earth's gravitational field for 2 months before continuing its journey into space. Because capture antandaga, temporarily capture antandaga, so it is attracted because of the Earth's gravitational force, and it might stay for 2 months anta ide. While gaining a mini moon is not unprecedented for Earth, it is a rare event. It is a rare event that is there. Typically, asteroids either miss Earth or burn up upon entering the atmosphere. Asteroids atmosphere enter they burn off. And they might exhaust, they might dissolve themselves, and they might never reach on Earth certain times. But meteorites, if a meteor strikes in the that might hit. Meteors may hit, comets may hit. So there is a possibility. It might pass through it. It's an old topic in the science and technology. Difference between comets, meteors or meteorites, and asteroids. Always know this. The meaning of these three: comets, meteor or meteorites. Nothing but meteorites in difference. Meteors are in the sky or in the space. When meteors enter the Earth, strikes the Earth, they are called as meteorite. And asteroids are also, as you say, rocky substances, rocky materials that emerges between Mars and Jupiter. There is a belt called as asteroid belt, right? We have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and there is a space there. That is where the asteroids are coming from, and they keep on swirling in the space. Typically, asteroids either miss Earth or burn up upon entering the atmosphere. Less likely, adu hitting ella agadu tumba kammi irutte, yakandre they will pass over. Less likely to happen. But when this is happening, this is going to happen in a few days after this, what we are discussing now. It might stay in the sky for some time as if it looks like moon. That is why it is called as mini moon, right? We will see the various factors. So, ee riti kanisute. Moon pakka innondeno substance. It might get illuminated because of sun's light, and it might look like one more object in the sky for some duration. So let's look into the definition and the various aspects of mini moon. Mini moons are small asteroids that get caught in Earth's gravity and orbit the planet for a while. Okay. Size and detection, they are usually very small and difficult to detect. It is not very easy to detect also. Only 4 mini moons have been discovered and none are currently orbiting Earth. Andre illi tanaka 4 mini moons we have discovered. Adre adu temporarily orbit agutte. It is not permanent. Right. Mini moon events happen relatively often, occurring every few decades. Right. Then how Earth captures mini moon, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? Captures ಅಂದ್ರೆ how it attracts through gravitational force. Mini moons are captured from the near Earth object population, which includes asteroids and other bodies that come close to Earth. ಅಂದ್ರೆ Earth ಸುತ್ತ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು objects swirl ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, which is not affecting Earth directly. And we know that, see, again, one more topic for you to look into is gravity. Gravitational force. This can be a remote topic. So that is what we see in the previous year pattern. Alva ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಅಷ್ಟು strategize ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನಮ್ಮ preparations. News ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಬೇರೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So you will be wondering, ನಾವು current affairs ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಓದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So basically it will be remotely connected. That is how we connect the topics. So meanwhile we are learning slowly. Make sure that whenever I mention something, make a note of it after the class, go through it and learn basics of it. That's what, right? So mini moons are captured because of the gravitational force. Classification, when we speak of classification here, NASA considers any space object within 120 million miles of Earth as near Earth object. Near Earth object, the definition is any space object within 120 million miles of Earth is called as near Earth object, while those within 4.7 million miles are labeled as potentially hazardous. Andre tumba hatra 4.7 million miles is very near when compared to 120 million. So this can be hazardous. So now you know which asteroid is dangerous and which asteroid is harmless. That means whichever is under the definition of NEO, near Earth objects, that is 120 million miles away from the Earth, that is harmless, and anything that is within 4.7 million miles or 7.5 million kilometers are labeled as potentially hazardous. This is the basic one should know. So the topic is regarding Earth's mini moon. They are nothing but asteroids. Temporarily they are captured by Earth and they continue the journey in the space. So far 4 mini moons are being observed, and this is a rare event that takes place once in few years. Next is Palamu Tiger Reserve. Protected areas in news anta consider ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಇದನ್ನ. Naxal insurgency destroys India's oldest tiger reserve in Jharkhand. This is quite an interesting case here, because there is a tiger reserve, one of the oldest tiger reserve known for its various aspects. We will look into it. It is in Jharkhand, and the trouble here is Naxal insurgency. Naxalites iradrinda ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, last two tiger estimation ಅಲ್ಲಿ Palamu tiger reserve ಅಲ್ಲಿ there are 0 tigers ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. Actual trouble is when we look at this article, we understand. See, personnel has to get into the core area, buffer area of the tiger reserve, and they have to know whether there are tigers. What if the entire region is occupied by Maoists or Naxalites or insurgents? It is very difficult to enter the space. And sometimes because of this personnel would enter, there are chances and there are cases wherein these insurgents have killed the tigers in this region. And Jharkhand's Palamu tiger is one of the oldest ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬಹುದು. First list 9 tiger reserves na ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. Project Tiger ಅಲ್ಲಿ first 9 tiger reserves ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು. ಒಂದು ಬಂಡೀಪುರ್, one from Karnataka, I'm telling you. ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಪಲಮೂನು ಒಂದು. So total 9 tiger reserves were there. We usually say Jim Corbett is the oldest of them. At first alla. So totally 9 tiger reserves were together established. One of them was Palamu Tiger Reserve in Jharkhand. Remember this. So let's look into the news. Forest officials from Palamu Tiger Reserve have reported to the NTCA that Naxal activities have encroached upon and impacted the reserve. Like NTCA is a governing body for all tiger conservation in India. So they have forest officials have reported it. Officials noted that Maoist presence has made the core zone of the Palamu Tiger Reserve inaccessible hindering conservation efforts and preventing a tiger census in the area. Core zone anta andre enu? Core area. So core area is also called as critical tiger habitat. Core area is also called as critical tiger habitat, where we have actual population of tigers. We have core, we have buffer. If you have learned in class, buffer zone, core zone anta kariteve. Buffer zone is nothing but the protected layer for the core zone. Core zone is also called as critical tiger habitat, where we have the actual population of the tigers. But in order to take up the census, officials have to get in here. But the trouble in or the equipments, they have to fix cameras for camera trapping. They have to collect the scats, or scats here refers to the pellets or the excretion of these big cats. Scats antandre excretion, pellets. Other analysis madak hogbekagutte, but because of the insurgency, this is not possible ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಒಂದು complaint. So tiger census ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಈ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ. In 1995, the Palamu Tiger Reserve recorded its highest population of tigers at 71. Since then, the tiger population in the reserve have been steadily declining. 1995 alle ee ondu Jharkhand Palamu Tiger Reserve ali we had 71. Then we did not get a proper number because of this insurgency in the news. Let's look into some features of Palamu Tiger Reserve and its place and location and all that. Okay, tigers spending more time in part of its territory. You're answering, or is this a question? Yes, critical tiger habitat means, yes, one thing is population is found, and also where abundance of tiger is found. Adike now core area anta kariteve, core zone anta kariteve. Yes. Then key points of this particular tiger reserve, just for the sake of knowing it. ಪ್ರತಿ ವಾರನೂ ನೀವು ಒಂದೊಂದು ಅಥವಾ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ. You eventually learn like that. That is how you learn, right? Yes. Located in the western part of Latehar district in Chota Nagpur Plateau in Jharkhand. When we speak of Chota Nagpur Plateau, we know that it is known for mining, right? Bauxite, especially coal and all that. So it is in Chota Nagpur Plateau. The reserve is part of the Betla National Park. One more thing you got to know, in Jharkhand we have a national park called as Betla. And reserve is part of this Betla National Park. What does this mean? So we have a national park here. For example, this is the peripheral area boundary of a national park. Within the national park, we have a tiger reserve. That is what it means, because tiger reserve is also called as a protected area. A national park is also called as a protected area. How do we declare a tiger reserve? Wherever there is an abundant population of tigers, we declare it as a tiger reserve, right? So tiger reserves can be anywhere within the national park or outside the national park separately, or within a wildlife sanctuary or outside. It doesn't matter. Wherever tiger population is there and it is approved by NBWL, National Board for Wildlife in the approve agi, athwa NTC in the recommend ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ first to National Tiger Conservation Authority. They will recommend to NBWL, which is the apex body for all the wildlife conservation in India, National Board for Wildlife, where the chairperson is Prime Minister himself. So this, after the approval, tiger reserve na establish ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So tiger reserve can be anywhere depending upon the criteria. Yes. So Betla National Park ಒಳಗೆ ಈ Palamu Tiger Reserve ಇದೆ. The world's first, and it is one of the first 9 tiger reserves created in India under Project Tiger, which I've already mentioned to you. 9 tiger reserves. One among them. The world's first tiger census based on pug marks was also conducted here. That is why it is quite popular. So before we had this pug mark census, ಈಗ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. Pug mark ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ this big cats food prints are considered, and calculation based on that, estimation based on that. Today we do not take a pug mark census because of the overlapping of the footprints on the same footprint of the wild cat, or some other wild cat might follow, or some other animal can wipe it off or overlap ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ pug mark census ತಗೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ ನಾವು. We take up DNA analysis and camera trapping is the suitable one as of now, right? So still by then ನಮಗೆ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಇಲ್ಲದಿರೋ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ pug mark census, the first census using pug mark was taken up in Palamu. That is its popularity. 3 rivers flow through the reserve: North Koyal, Auranga, Burha. If you have not heard of none of them, don't worry about it. The state level affairs agutte. The geology includes nice rocks granite, limestone, and the area is rich in minerals like bauxite and coal. And all of us know that Chota Nagpur Plateau is rich in these minerals. Key species are, I have added key species also because so that you get an idea. Ee jagadalli ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಇರಬಹುದು ಅಂತ. Tigers, elephants, leopards, grey wolves ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Gore is like what's a bison like, right? Buffalo. Sloth bear ಇದೆ, right? We have sloth bear sanctuary in Karnataka. We have 4-horned antelope. Then we have Indian ratel, Indian otter, Indian pangolin. Indian otters, that is water aquatic species. Ratel I wanted to see. India pangolin, it is in news continuously. Please look into it. Okay. This is about Palamu Tiger Reserve. Moving on. Next topic, loss and damage fund. Loss and damage fund. So we have heard about this from past 2 years, especially because it was first initiated in COP27 in Egypt. So that's the reason. Let's look into it. What is it? And it is very important for you to learn about it. So news in the context, Kerala's Wayanad district was recently hit by devastating landslides. We all know that. So this has sparked discussion about whether subnational regions can claim compensation from the loss and damage fund under the UNFCCC. Andre loss and damage fund bari national level ge matra kodtara athwa regional level ge kodtara annu ಒಂದು debate. Yakendre we should know what is loss and damage fund in the first place. So loss and damage fund was established at 2022 UNFCCC, COP27, COP28 we had in UAE alva recent agi. COP29 ella agutte iga? Anyone? Where will it be held? Baku, Azerbaijan ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Baku ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Okay, next COP ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. COP28 ಆಗಿತ್ತು. We are talking about 2 years ago. COP27, a year ago. To support regions impacted by climate change. So ಯಾವ regions, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು country climate change ಇಂದ disasters ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ fund initiate ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ loss and damage fund create ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಆಗ. It aims to provide financial assistance for both economic and non-economic losses caused by extreme weather events and slow onset processes like rising sea levels, etc. Right? So these two, andre extreme weather events in the enadru loss adre, life loss adre, economic loss adre, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಫಂಡ್ ಕೊಡಕ್ಕೆ ಈ loss and damage fund ಅನ್ನು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. Now, what is the issue? Why there is a debate going on? Can Kerala access funds from the loss and damage fund? ಅದು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ it is up to the criteria of the UNFCCC. But anyway, let's learn what is this loss and damage fund in detail. So COP28 agreement on loss and damage fund. Member countries agree to operationalize loss and damage fund. Member countries ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ UNFCCC ಗೆ ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ they initiated this. So the fund targets losses from extreme weather events, slow onset changes like rising sea levels. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು climatic change disasters ಆದ್ರೆ fund ಅದಕ್ಕೆ utilize ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Managed by a governing body responsible for resource allocation. The World Bank acts as an interim trustee because obviously all the money comes from World Bank only. So this is the trustee here. What are the mechanisms? ಹೇಗೆ ಈ ಫಂಡ್ ನ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು? Direct access in the case of disaster, small grants, rapid disbursement options. Disbursement is distribution. In case of any disasters, immediate agi response ಮಾಡುವಂತ. So 3 mechanisms ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. Ongoing concern is climate funds including LDF may be slow to provide immediate aid after disasters because ಈ ಡಿಸಾಸ್ಟರ್ ನ ಅಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ವೈ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ ಕ್ಲೈಮೇಟ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇಂದನ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಇವೆಂಟ್ ಇಂದನ, ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಕೊಲಾಪ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಆಗಿದ್ಯಾ ಅಥವಾ ರೆಕ್ಲೆಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇಂದನ. ಕ್ಲೈಮೇಟ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇಂದ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಇದು ದುಡ್ಡು. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಡಿಸಾಸ್ಟರ್, ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಡಿಸಾಸ್ಟರ್. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಡಿಸಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಆಫ್ 2005, ರೈಟ್? ಅದು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಂತ UNFCCC ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. Local communities, especially at the sub-national level, may struggle with timely access to these resources. Means, see, local communities, sub-national level refers to regional level. Tumma on the national level disaster agade, yaudo one particular region. See, even if Kerala is considered, only in Wayanad, that was a great devastation. Not entire Kerala or South India, or Ethiopian. So, sub-national adaga, timely access sigboda annuvanta question. That is what it is in the news. So, the definition of the loss and damage fund here refers to, it is like rich countries must support lower income countries. Why? For loss and damage cost, including health impacts occurring in vulnerable countries. Vulnerable countries here refers to any other developing countries, island countries, African nations, whichever it is. So this fund will be utilized like that. So hope you got the point. ಈಗ question ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ವೈನಾಡ್ಗೆ loss and damage fund ಇಂದ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದಾ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, it should be assessed first. After assessing, by the time it is assessed, the state government and central government should have taken action by it. So basically, timely support is the question. That is the criticism we can consider here. Then next, it is under ecology only. We are talking about kleptoparasitism. Basic topic. Parasitism we have learnt in in our basic ecology, environmental ecology classes, some of you, and those are we are yet to start. You'll be learning it. Population interaction, community interaction. So let's see in the news what do we have. So kleptoparasitism, in general, what is parasitism? Yes, population interaction. Yes, kleptoparasitism or parasitism andre yenu? We assign my plus minus and alva plus minus 0 and all. So we have in parasitism, we have a parasite and a host, wherein parasite is benefited and host is affected. And yes, parasites depend on the host, right? So what is klepto? Wherever the word klepto here is, it refers to theft, stealing, robbery. Kleptomaniac anta kariteve. Kleptomaniac andre an eager to always take up robbery. Adu klepto means stealing. So let's see what is this kleptoparasitism first. Researchers propose that kleptoparasitism or food theft among seabirds may serve as transmission route for H5N1 avian influenza virus, possibly contributing to its rapid global spread. What does this mean? It means here, kleptoparasitism andre, usually parasitism itself is where the organisms depend on the host. Now seabirds are known for klepto. Klepto is like stealing somebody's food. That is also parasitism, depending upon other organisms. So idrinda enagtide antandre, it has served as a transmission route for H5N1 avian influenza virus, possibly contributing to its rapid global spread. So the ella kade theft of food agadrinda enagtide, then it flies over avian influenza athwa H5N1 anta enu anta karitivi, that is spreading rapidly. So kleptoparasitism refers to theft of food or resources collected or prepared by another individual. Usually whales or dolphins, when they feed on various other fishes, these birds keep on following them. So their food will be stolen by or seals. Seal on the cartoon movies alla noditare, which is sometimes quite scientifically accurate, wherein these birds will steal the food. That is called as kleptoparasitism, right? So how does this work, and what are its basic aspects? Feeding behavior. So feeding behavior involves one animal taking prey or food from another that has caught, killed, or prepared, as seen with cuckoo bees laying eggs on pollen masses made by other bees. There is a set of bees called as cuckoo bees. So what they do is they lay eggs on pollen masses made by the other bees. So they're like, it is ready so that the other bees will take care of it, or they eat it, or they will take their nectar. So So there are many instances like this. As it's an international news, in general, less likely kleptoparasitism ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. So your hint is to look into biotic interaction, various interactions. ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ detail ಆಗಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೇಕು. Resource theft includes the stealing of nest materials or inanimate objects from one animal by another. Resource theft ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Occurrence observed in various animal groups including birds, insects, mammals, considered a form of social parasitism ಅಂತಾನು ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಇದು ನಾವು ನೋಡಬಹುದು. Kleptoparasites benefit by obtaining, even in Arctic region also, Arctic fox ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ಔಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ನೋ ಗೀಸ್ ಇಟ್ಟಿರುವಂತ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಸ್ನೋ ಔಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂತ ಫುಡ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದನ್ನ it will steal it and hide it somewhere inside the snow. ಈ ಆರ್ಟಿಕ್ ಫಾಕ್ಸ್ ಬರಿ ಮಾಡಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಪ್ರಾಣಿ ನೋಡಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಅದು ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. So that is called as kleptoparasitism for eating. Kleptoparasites benefit by obtaining food without expending energy, searching or capturing resources themselves. So they will not spend any energy, simply follow some host and they get food, some resources from them. Kleptoparasitism can be intraspecific. See, this word we have learned in static. Interspecific, between different species, with the close relatives often involved in the later following Emery's rule. Emery's rule anta enu kottilla. I'll give it to you as an assignment. Look into it. Yakandre ishtond in depth kelalla unless it is in news for multiple times, but still I want you to look into it. Okay, intraspecific and interspecific is, intra is within the same population. Inter is, see, sometimes one monkey will go and grab a fruit or something like that, it starts eating. One more monkey will take this fruit and run away. That is intraspecific. Right? Interspecific antandre bere totally different population alliruvanta jeevi mattondu ಪ್ರಾಣಿಯಿಂದ ಕಿತ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಈಗ hyenas and lions, these two are different. Likewise, so intraspecific and interspecific we can say. This is done. Then again, regarding methane emissions we will discuss. Frame, idea of frame. So food banks can prevent. Yes, inter is between two. Intra is within. Don't get confused. Intra is within, same. Inter is outside. Intra is inside. Intra is inside. Okay. Yes. Frame. A new methodology called food recovery to avoid methane emissions. Frame stands for food recovery to avoid methane emissions. Provides estimates on food banks impact. This is also a very interesting topic because I have told you in the class also as well. Carbon emission anta bandaga we speak about industries, vehicles, agriculture, fertilizer and all big things. Every individual is equally responsible for carbon emission. It is like food wastage. When food is cooked food, you throw it off and it get decomposed. And finally, what is being emitted? Methane. So which is contributing to greenhouse gases. Idanna avoid madakoskara, in many countries we have something called as food banks. If we are not using it, you have to supply it. I mean, unused food, it can be used elsewhere or it can be dumped elsewhere wherein the methane emission is not taking place. So food banks are common in many countries. We do not have in India, I don't know, but in other places we do have some countries. So each food uses greenhouse gases emission equivalent to removing 9 gasoline powered cars from the road 1 year. One food bank ಎಷ್ಟು ಫುಡ್ ನ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್, ಎಷ್ಟು ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, it is equal to 900 petrol or diesel powered cars the road for 1 year. Equivalent 900 cars ಎಷ್ಟು ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಎಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಫುಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡದಾಗೆ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. The methodology highlights the importance of food recovery and mitigating methane emissions and addressing climate change. In many restaurants in France, this is a very old news. If it is unused, ಈಗ ನಾವು ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ that will be again kept away. I mean, if the person is not using it, so they will reuse it or they will provide for the poor. It is not that somebody has left and half eaten alla kodala. Which is not used. So for example, restaurants will prepare but customers are not there and they do not throw it, they'll provide it to food bank will make better use of it by providing food for destitutes, orphanages and all that is called as food bank. Okay, Maybe in the name of food bank anta ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ, ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಮದುವೆ ಮನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆತರ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So we already have it, but this is directly related to global greenhouse gas emissions. So what is this? Why we should worry about it? As I've already told you, see, look into this image. Global methane emissions anta bandaga 60% is coming from food. I told you, it is not from industries, it is not from vehicles. Yes, we blame it, but you can see here 20% from food loss and waste. Every day, whatever we are wasting, 20% greenhouse or methane is coming from that. From rice cultivation, 13%, even that is lesser. 17% from biofuels, 50% from livestock farming. Livestock farming is the greatest threat to, climate change, or maybe, sorry, emission of greenhouse gases. So 50% is from the feed and the belching, burping, the cow burps after eating, chewing the cud. So that is all because of food industry we are talking about. So emission quantification, frame measures, redirecting cost and consumption, distribution, recovery ಮಾಡಿ ಪುನಃ redistribute waste ಆಗದಿದ್ದ ಹಾಗೆ. The methodology was created by the Global Food Banking Network in collaboration with Global Methane Hub and Carbon Trust. All our NGOs. Pilot project FRAME started as a pilot in Mexico and Ecuador, analyzing 6 community-led food banks. The FRAME tool is to detail agi beda, and for the sake of reading, I'm reading it. How do we utilize this as a concept in your mains answer writing again? So, or maybe in prelims, which of the following contributes to greenhouse gas emissions? Wastage of food, which is true, correct? Okay. Yes. The Global Methane Hub. This philanthropic organization focuses on reducing methane emissions worldwide and aims to enhance funding dedicated to methane reduction initiatives. So, this organization. Okay. This is about these key points regarding FRAME. If you ever see this, remember that is about food banks and how we tackle the emission from food wastage. Now, places in news anta tagombodu. This is like very simple news, just for the idea or maybe awareness we are taking it up. Sri Vijayapuram, India recently renamed Port Blair, the capital of the Union Territory of Andaman and Nicobar Island, to Sri Vijayapuram. ನೀವು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ವಿಜಯಪುರಂ ಅಂತ ಹೆಸರಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Port Blair, we know that is the capital of Andaman and Nicobar. Today, Port Blair is renamed as Sri Vijayapuram. So the new name Sri Vijayapuram marks a departure from the colonial history and symbolizes the victory of India's freedom struggle, highlighting the island's significant historical role. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಕ್ಲೂ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು ಅಂಡಮಾನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ನಿಕೋಬಾರ್ದು geographical map that we have to know. And moreover, there are many islands which is named by the British, and many islands today have been renamed by the government recently. I want you to check those new names of the islands. Okay, Andaman Nicobar alli iruvanta ee islands, let me show it to you. ಈಗ Havelock Island, then we have Havelock, then Middle Andaman, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಐಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೊಸ ಹೆಸರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆ ಹೊಸ ಹೆಸರುಗಳು ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅಂಡಮಾನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಈಗ Port Blair will be called as Sri Vijayapuram. That is the name. Let's see why it is named like that, and why we can connect to history here. In the 11th century, the Andaman Islands functioned as a strategic naval base for the Chola Empire. Even before the British, for British, we think of Andaman as the jail antane gnapaka baruttalla. Freedom fighters were kept there and all that. But in 11th century, it was Chola Empire under Rajendra Chola I who launched an attack on the Sri Vijaya Empire, marking a significant event in India's military history. So Rajendra Chola I of Chola Empire had launched had launched an attack of Indonesia. It is called as Sri Vijaya Empire by then. And the Chola invasion was aimed at expanding their influence and securing vital trade routes. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಇಂಡೋನೇಷಿಯನ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ ನ ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಡೋನೇಷಿಯನ್ ಎಂಪೈರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಲಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಚೋಲಾ ಎಂಪೈರ್ 11th century, named after British naval officer Archibald Blair. Port Blair rose to prominence during British rule as a penal colony, symbolizing oppression, particularly after 1857 revolt. So, this was away from the mainland. So, Andaman is away from the mainland, totally very far compared to Lakshadweep, very far. So, ee jagana isolate agidanta jagana, a naval officer, his Archibald Blair, it is named after him. That is why we are calling it as Port Blair. And now there is a debate going on. What is the need of changing Congress versus BJP? Okay, Congress criticizes lack of public opinion. BJP says that it is all about a freedom struggle. Why should we still in colonial hangover? Debate. Political controversies, you just leave it aside. But look into the geographical aspect and the historical context, how it is important for our exam, right? So, British had made this as a penal colony, as an isolated place where freedom fighters were tormented or tortured. So the notorious Kala Pani, cellular jail in Kala Pani was constructed in 1906 to imprison freedom fighters, including Veer Damodar Savarkar. Savarkar was there. On October 30th, 1943, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose hoisted the Indian national for the very first time on Indian soil in Port Blair. Indian national flag na Subhash Chandra Bose early hoist madidana Port Blair alli. These are the two other modern India in the nimige siguvanta points. Ancient in the Chola Empire. And strategically positioned in the Bay of Bengal, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, grant India vast oceanic territory under UN clause and act as countries the first line of defense against maritime threats from the east. So that is why we have the defense line there. And also recently we see in news that we are taking up Nicobar, the Great Nicobar project, infrastructure project to Almarta Debe. It is because of it act as a defense. These chain of islands act as a defense for maritime trade for India, and it is crucial in terms of strategic point. So this is what we have. So you have to look more into this map detail because of one is Great Nicobar project and again renaming of this. So better to know in detail. As I told you, know the new names of some islands which was renamed recently. So this is what we have for today. So I'll wind up for today as of now. So hopefully, I think you followed the class and you learned something today. If you have any questions, you can ask, or else we'll wind up for the day. Okay. So take care. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you so much. Monday class is there for B2 batch. Yes, Monday is there. Classes are there. Okay, fine then. We'll see you in the next class. Thank you so much.